What's up, everybody? What's up? Give everybody a time to lock in and join the live. Join the live. We gonna have Vice President of AYF, Craig Carahuda, on here tonight to explain the process and everything that went into AYF going 7-1. Waiting on Craig to enter the studio. Let me check where he at now. We gonna talk about today. We gonna have Craig explain the process on what went on and why AYF went to the 7-1 cutoff. I gave my input last week on what I thought was the process from my point of view. I was talking about Pop Warner. We got Craig. What's up, Craig? How you doing, man?
Fix my hat and get ready.
I just told them, last week I was speaking on what I thought went into the process, but who better to talk to and explain what went into, AYF going 7-1, but the Vice President Craig, and we already know Craig's going to keep us informed. He's going to keep it 100, and we want to start off with what 2026 holds for AYF.
All right, give me 1 second, D, and I will be right
okay.
with you. Just got here. All right, here we go. All right, so everybody's talking about 7-1, and wow, AYF changed their birth date, and you got people out there making assumptions, and we got
facts.
We got an echo, or we good?
We good.
I hear an echo on my end. Weird.
Oh no.
So everybody's talking, their assumptions on the subject of why we did what we did and everything else. And some of these guys out there are making statements and stuff. And they're same guys that call me when they want to ask something and know something. But in this one, they just decided to go out there and post for likes and go on shows and give their opinion on stuff. And, so here's the deal. It's been 3 years in the talking. We've been talking about it for 3 years. Guys have come to us, a few guys here, a few guys there. This year it came heavy at Nationals. There was a lot of talk about 7-1. So when I got home, I tasked the 8 regional chairmen to go out and find out if it's real. Go talk to all the 100 and something conference presidents and see how everybody feels about it. Told them to make a list. We had a meeting. I printed a spreadsheet. I did a roll call. Either they want it. It doesn't matter to them either way. They don't want it, or they need more information, before they make a decision. We were in the over 70%. Without even having a conversation, said yes, or it doesn't matter to us. So I said, wow, I never thought the number was going to be that big, dude. That shocked me. I thought the number would be around 50, and I said from Jump Street to the guys, this is a conversation that's going to require not a majority. It's going to require a great majority to do this. So Atlantic and Big East region had about 6 conferences in each one that wanted more information on why and how. And we all know the Atlantic and Big East are 2 of the biggest regions for sending football teams to AYF. So we had our call with the regional guys, and we all talked. And a lot of conversation came up on the call. We changed our birthday. We changed our age cutoff last year. Our start date to July 1st to accommodate teams that wanted to do summer events, and technically we're not in compliance. Remember, we talked about that with the hospitality and everything else. And one of the guys in the call said, one of the regional guys said, well, it makes sense. The start date and the cutoff date the same. You walk on the field day 1. On July 1st, whatever age Timmy is, that's a division Timmy plays. You know what I'm saying? If Timmy's 12 on July 1st, he plays 12U. If Timmy's 11 on, he plays 11. So, it just made it easier. So that was part of the conversation. Then another dynamic that came into the conversation we had, which I didn't even think about.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give Ralph Moore his props on this one. Ralph said, we're 731. UIFL has 731. Pop Warner was 731. Now they're 715. But if you look around the country, a lot of new leagues, especially in certain areas where we're not big, where we don't have a big presence, all those
Mm-hmm.
leagues popping up, and the new ones are all 7-1 leagues. In the last 4 to 5 years, new leagues are popping up in 7-1. And I've talked to 15 or 20 leagues in the last couple of years that would rather be here than somewhere else. They'd rather the structure, the integrity, and all that, but they don't want to change their date. So now with all that being said, that's more of, hey, have we tapped out the recruiting? Have we tapped out where AYF can only get this big because everything new is 7-1 around the country? Good conversation point that Ralph came up with. And the Atlantic and Big East chairman, Travis and Lou, went back to their people the next day, the 12 conferences, and said, hey, this is the numbers. This is what the rest of the country is thinking. This is what we talked about last night. And all 12 of those conferences says we're in. Now we're at 84%. At 84%, we took a vote of the 8 regions, 8-0, and we're 7-1. We're not 7-1 because this guy's 7-1 or that guy's 7-1 or people going on the internet saying, oh, they come in 7-1 because we started it and they want to be like us. You all started what you started because you wanted to be like us. Remember that. Okay? So, cut that crap and that nonsense. This is none of that. Nobody care. I don't care what they're doing somewhere else. I could care less. I don't have to go on the internet every night and talk about all the things I give away and this to justify myself because I have no, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm very, I'm trying, I lost my train of thought there for a second, but you know what I'm saying? I don't have to justify my existence or not feel that I'm, I don't have that self of my, that self knowledge.
Yeah. Self-importance and validation.
Yeah, validation. That's the word I slipped my tongue. I don't have to validate what we're doing. We're doing what we're doing for the people that want to be here. Now, already, Oklahoma City, Wichita, Kansas, 0 AYF. AYF now. Okay?
Wow.
All right. Northwest Georgia Youth Football League. AYF now. Tucker Lions, 404 Bulls. Teams that tried to come and play the 4-game schedule because there was nothing in Atlanta. That whole league is AYF now. That is the way to get to AYF through Atlanta, is to go to Northwest Georgia Youth Football League. There will be one charter in the metro Atlanta area for 2026. Not going crazy in Atlanta. We're going to have one league and see how it works out. Probably by Friday, there's going to be a whale coming. I went fishing, and I found a whale that we're probably going to hear about on Friday. Okay? And then, there's a whale coming Friday. And then probably after the weekend, it's not a huge conference, but it's some quality football and some good people from another area where there's no AYF. So there's a couple more talking right now, but we're pulling them in. And we didn't ask for them. They're coming here because it fits their model now too. So that just tells you people wanted to be here. They just couldn't be here because it didn't fit. So this wasn't a Craig decision. This wasn't the 8 regional guys' decision. This wasn't a private vote. This was what the people wanted. You know what I mean? This is what the people wanted. In the words of Al Capone and Don King, give the people what they want. Okay?
Most definitely.
That's what the people wanted, and we gave the people what they wanted, and that's where we're going to go from here. I mean, we're still AYF, still AYF. It's just a couple kids that played on a team last year are going to be able to stay on that same age level this year, and a couple kids aren't. You know what I mean? You're going to gain some, and you're going to lose some on the front and back end, possibly. You don't have to.
Do you expect this shift to reduce the age and size disparities we sometimes see at a national level?
I don't know what do you mean?
Like, do you think that it'd be more players per age group, or like with the shift with going 7-1, like how long you think that you will really see the change, and do you think regionally it'll be harder for some teams or easier for some teams?
It's probably going to be a combination of everything you just said. You know what I mean? For one guy,
Okay.
it's going to be one way. For another guy, it might help this guy that way. I mean, there's going to be more teams competing for spots. So that's gonna probably limit maybe somebody's opportunity that thought they were going to have it, but they're going to play their way in and they're going to see if they can. You know what I mean? That's the way we do things.
I'm loving it honestly, because like when you really think about it, like it gives a lot of these teams like who like to go out in preseason and get the challenge, and like love the preseason challenges to get them ready. Now they can fill their team how they need, and then we won't have to have these different cutoffs at the preseason events. So I'm looking forward to 2026 to see what the change will be and how these teams going to look.
Yeah, I mean,
Flowers,
it's
what you have to say about like how you going to adjust? Have you already started adjusting?
Yeah, actually, it's funny you asked that because the team that I just had who just won the Nationals, we keep three interior linemen down to play with the 12U again. So if there were any interior offensive defensive line issues, there are no issues now because we had three starters from my national team that stay down for this 12U team. Um, so
Wow.
so it affects them right away of how physical we can be right off the bat.
okay. So that's you're saying your 12U is going to keep three of those kids.
Yeah, my 12U keeps four offensive and defensive linemen. Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. And actually,
Wow. So hold on.
yeah.
So your national championship line can stay down? Oh
Not
wow.
all of them, not all of them, but three of them stay down. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Yes.
And how does that benefit you going up to 13U?
Well, no, I'm staying at 12s.
Oh, you staying at 12s?
Absolutely.
Oh,
I'm staying at 12s. I'm staying at 12s.
Oh wow.
So that's what the big thing is. Three of the offensive linemen I had stayed down with me again at 12U.
Wow. So
Yes.
Craig, you see these changes already taking effect, because I know last year, how many leagues did you welcome last year? Wasn't it like 20 something leagues that you brought into AYF last year?
no, it was less than that, but it was like 12 when we were all said and done. Some fake the funk. They're coming and they don't come and they don't do their stuff right. You know how that goes.
So you feel like this year you off to a faster start with the change?
Yeah, I don't need to bring in. I don't need to bring in 12 leagues. I could bring in six. The size of
Mm,
the leagues and the quality. I'm looking for quality. I'm looking for good
most
people.
definitely.
We're looking for good
Most
people.
definitely.
Again, we have a big problem in youth football right now, and a lot of it is the people. There's
Facts.
98% of the people are great. It's the 2% that are hurting us because they don't. Nobody in the media, nobody on the internet amplifies the 98%. They only amplify the 2% that screw up and do dumb stuff. That's who gets amplified right now. So we have an issue there in youth football with behavior, and for the most part, there's a tiny percent of coaches, but for the most part, it's still behavior. And I don't think you could talk to anybody that runs a youth football league or an event that won't tell you that. Fan behavior is the worst thing going on right now in youth football.
Yeah, you absolutely right.
The worst. And it just I don't know. We have to come up with a better way. I don't know. All of us that put on tournaments or run organizations and stuff, uh, you know, you don't have to like each other. You can respect each other and maybe have a conversation, have a Zoom call, come up with some kind of, that if you screw up here, we're not letting you in any of them.
And people love to screw it's a money grab, but they don't realize that their actions and the way they carry themselves and act it ain't really a big money grab as you think when you have to pony up on police security and all those things of that nature because it costs to run a effective clean event and it's getting out of hand with a lot of stuff that goes on at these events. So you absolutely right. I definitely agree with that.
Darian, the mayor of the city where we play the event probably doesn't get paid what I pay in state security and cops. In 6 days, a U.S. congressman probably salary is the same as what we pay, and that's not a joke.
Wow.
Those numbers are in 6 digits to run an event for the size. It's not
Whew.
a joke. Sheriffs make 80 something dollars an hour.
Oh, I'm about to cry, Craig.
It's
$80 an
well,
hour.
and the more people that act foolish, you have to have more sheriffs. More sheriffs means it costs more money. Well, guess what? The money doesn't come from the money fairy. Somebody's got to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that's why costs are what they are. It's not. You put on events too. You know what it costs.
Oh,
It's
I know. Trust me, I know. I definitely know what it costs, and you can't get the facility unless you have police with it now. Like they want police. They don't even want security.
no. They
They
tell
want
you,
police.
and they tell you how many. You don't decide. They tell you.
Exactly, and they tell you how many they want and everything. So everybody think that these things are so lucrative. No, it's you got to pay out a lot of money if you want to run a legit smooth event because it's all the small things, even trainers and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Like when you want to run a clean event, I know the events that I've been through that I cherish and hold deep. The AYF we had an awesome AYF.
Yeah, for the most part, it was a great week. You know what I mean? But again, the 2% bring the high down so low that when it just brings everything down for people that run the events. The average person doesn't see it. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's like
You all right? So
you
Flowers,
just got to calm down.
Flowers, my guy Flowers. Man,
What's up,
again,
fellas?
we didn't get to have our one-on-one conversation, but we always talk. Me and Flowers go back to Pop Warner. Um, I want to say congratulations. You had
Thank
a
you.
bumpy regular season. You don't run for five, even when you were banged up. You still took your team and took those lumps, and you was healthy at the right time of the year. I mean, what went into preparing for nationals after like a up and down season?
No, not necessarily. I think that the year prior, we knew we can play with the better teams, the national teams, but we had to learn how to win against the national teams. So last year, losing to the OG Ducks, and we were being up 2 touchdowns and couldn't maintain the lead. I think we went back and it was a mental state. Not too much physically, but mentally, we had to understand how to do some things and get around some obstacles. So this year, which is a combination of just um, getting everybody on the same page, not physically but mentally. And once we got to Florida, I just think that everything just came together. The kids were hungry, they were physically ready. We were in just we hit the stride at the right time. I think offensively and defensively, we just had the confidence that nobody can do nothing with us, and it showed. And no knock against nobody else. There were some great teams. There was 4 or 5 time national champion that we played against.
Yes,
Five.
yes, five
So much
times,
respect goes to all them guys. We didn't think it was going to be easy at all, but we just played our game, and the result was the result.
How would you describe the identity of your team?
Resilient. So again, so you always been right there with those guys, but the first year we lost OG Ducks 26-6. We came back the following year and lost it in the fourth quarter. So I just think that this year, our mental state was just hardened enough to know that okay, we can play with these guys, but now it's time to win against these guys. And I just think it was no turning them. It was no telling my guys no. Um, we clicked on cylinders on the offensive end. Defensively, their confidence was sky high. So I mean, I don't care who we played. I just think that we were going to come out victorious, and the kids showed it. The kids showed it. They showed it in practice. They showed it in the preparation. They showed it in how they played in the game. And I don't think there's going to be no denying us this year.
What do you think? What group you think on your team showed the most growth during the season to help y'all complete your goals?
It was the quarterback. It was the quarterback and a few guys on the offensive end. Before Florida, there's a couple guys stayed over, and they were just watching film all day long of this team, of that team, of 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 the West Seven Rams. I mean, they were just in the film room themselves. So they just took it upon themselves to really do the homework to be prepared for Florida. And once we got to Florida, they just were well prepared. Even on top of what I had these guys do, they were just well seasoned on what teams did what well, what teams didn't do things well, and they just executed offensively. And like I said, we put up some points that I didn't think we would put up. But I just think that it just came from the dedication of the kids offensively. Mason Moore, Nazir Grant. We just kind of and with the addition of Kareem White, who played up the last few years with the money team, he stayed down and he just helped us to get over the top.
And honestly, I Mason always had an arm, but I think he was a better runner at prior years. But this year, he really stayed in the pocket, like, and he really became a pocket passer. He can definitely run. You can't blitz him, and you got to respect the RPO game. How did y'all prepare him for this season? How did he like flip the switch and he was that balanced attack y'all had, and he made people respect that, especially with that combination him and Nazir had. That was pretty special for me to see during nationals.
Okay, it
What
was
went
a
into
combination of
preparing Mason for this year?
it wasn't a 1 year thing. It was a 3 year thing. Um, spring ball, 7-on-7, just the camaraderie of the kids playing together. Um, Mason finally understood that, okay, I can win games with my legs, but I can also win games with my arm too. And he kind of matured into that um, role as a quarterback and as a leader, and he trusted his guys. It's easy for him to just to play Superman and try to make every play, but he relied on some of the other weapons we had. Yaquise Mims, who caught some big passes. So he just relied on his guys and understood the system that we ran. Actually, some of the coaches nicknamed our team the system because what we did, I stopped coaching high school, but I brought some of the high school points to this team, and it was like I said, it was a 3 year run to where as though they had to learn what I wanted them to learn, and this year, they just everything clicked, and it was just they understood everything I wanted them to do. There were coaches on the field, and they just understood the assignment.
And one more thing, Nasir Grant, MVP for me because what he did on both sides of the ball. Can you explain to me his mindset and the things that you saw in him nationals that made him, because he took his game to another level. Like he to me he took on all the challenges. Like he wanted all the smoke.
Again, another 3 to 4 year maturation process. I had him since he was 9 years old, and I think that quite frankly, he was tired of losing in nationals. He felt like he was one of the better kids at nationals. He just had to mentally get better, not physically. He can do anything on the field you ask him. You put him on the field, he's the best at that position. Safety, running back. He played everything for us. 10U, he played receiver. 11U, he played running back. 12U, he played everything. So I think it was a maturation process, and he understood that he wanted to be with the little rods. He wanted to be named with all the kids that were the higher end kids, and he proved it. He watched a lot of film. He's one of the kids I'm talking about. He watched a lot of kids, and he felt like he's one of the better kids in the nation, and he showed that he can play with them guys.
And man, shout out to the North Philly Blackhawks organization. yearly there been the whole organization has been getting better. And I want to know what went into you see in youth football now. Some people they get a winning team and they don't want to let go. I know you old school, and I want to know what made you relinquish that team or let it go after winning a national championship.
Uh, Great question. I still don't know. Um, I'm gonna still be around to that team is going to be a 13U. So my coaches are still on that staff. I'm gonna grab a new staff to coach the 12s, but they reached the pinnacle. They had a historic run at nationals. They went through the grind and went to the obstacles of losing year after year. They found out the recipe to win, and they reached the pinnacle. So it's nothing else for me to do with that team. Now it's time for me to stay where I'm at and defend it. I have another team coming up. Again, very, very talented. They're always there in tough games. And I feel like, you know what? I'm going to stay here and defend my title at 12s.
So you needed a challenge. You wanted to be challenged too, coach.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, Craig, because everybody just assumed, go to 13U, we got the blueprint, we're going to go and just do it again. I said, nah. I said, that's too easy. And not saying I would just win it all again, but that team went out on top. They reached the pinnacle. They grabbed the trophy. I said, you know what? I'm gonna stay at 12s. And my decision also came with the 7-1 cutoff. I said, oh yeah, that kind of solidified what I wanted to do with the 12s and stay there, and just defend my title at 12s.
Darian, I posted that picture a week before Nationals with the Dragon, and I said,
Mhm.
"Who's going to enter the gauntlet and slay the Dragon?" Well, I also posted a picture after Nationals, the Dragon Slayer, with Ronnie holding the trophy. That was the Dragon Slayer for the week. He slayed two.
He slayed two top five
Listen,
teams in the
and
nation, two
listen,
top five teams
Beast End was a
and
tough
in the
game.
dynasty.
And Beast, don't let's not sell Beast
Houston's
End
very
short.
good.
Beast End is right there in the
Houston's
top
very
ten
Yeah,
good.
shout
in
out
the
to
country.
Beast End. Beast End, that was a phenomenal game. I recorded that game. I was there for that game. And I'm not gonna even lie, like Beast End, I love y'all, but y'all ain't did yourself no favor. When you stop pounding that ball and you try to get cute with it, it changed everything, But that game and the resilience of your team, to because they scored like with the clock running out on a quarterback sneak,
Yep.
and then it was a controversial call that a lot of people didn't see. People saw from across the field and they were seeing one thing, like they felt like that was one thing, and it was. I remember seeing it, and I remember Nazir again. It's Nazir the DB, it was a pick. The DB jumped up. He got the ball, but he didn't come down with it. When he went and tried to gain possession, the ball was ripped from up under him. And and we all know the receiver always get possession after that. So that was a phenomenal game, and that
Hey,
and everything seemed like it, like once y'all started rolling, and then like when y'all did that to the Ravens, like whoa, like it was like, oh, this is they looking like the best team out here because they're like what was the pregame like that? Because they came out with like a chip on their shoulder, like we've been waiting on this moment.
We always felt like we matched up better against the Ravens than we did OG. And again, like I said, we lost to OG the prior 2 years, but we
Mm-hmm.
never got a chance to play against the Ravens. Um, Ravens, we felt like we could match the skills, but I didn't think we were ready for OG's interior. Like the O line that OG had
Mm-hmm.
gave us a lot of issues. But this year we got the Ravens first, and not that we were looking past them. We would never look past a great team like that. But I felt like our issue would be with the size of the OG line. But the Ravens game, we just went out to play football. Like it was nothing special going into that. We didn't overthink it or nothing like that. We went out to just to play football, and the result was the result. I mean, I thought it would be much tougher than that. Rod is an amazing
no.
kid. They got some amazing kids on that team, but I just think our kids were so focused and they wanted that game that they weren't going to be denied.
Hey, D, can I give you mentioned the Blackhawk organization and you shouted them
Mhm.
out? I'm going to shout them out too, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
3 years ago, I had to go to Flowers. I had to go to Rock. I had to go to Keno. I had to go to all the guys I knew there, and I said, guys, help me. Because Ronnie will tell you, Blackhawks travel, and when the Blackhawks travel, 5, 6 teams make it to nationals. That's a lot of Blackhawks in one place. And
Yeah.
they have one team playing, and they have 6 teams worth of fans watching. And they were becoming a rambunctious organization in a nice way, causing parents so guys got to stop. And it stopped immediately. And for the last 2 years, that organization, I don't have a problem with them at all. We don't get calls. They're not on our list anymore. The programs that give us, calls for problems at the field, they took it serious. They met with their parents multiple times. They do it at the beginning of the year. They do it before regionals. They do it before nationals. Erica and Don, God rest his soul, they took it serious. I had them talk to her. I felt better, even though I knew Erica, I felt better talking to the guys that I know, on the coaches, and they brought it to her, and they took it very serious, and they did a 180 over 3 years ago with how their fans acted. So if
It's
you're
just
a problem organization and you
it's
want to
growth.
know how to get
It's
your
just
fans
growth,
to act
Craig.
better,
It's
all the Blackhawks, they got the recipe. They do. They got the recipe because I'm telling you, they did a 180.
I,
It's
I
amazing.
I I got one more question for Flowers though, and I know you might don't want to answer this, so I'm gonna put you on the hot seat. Listen, I saw a flyer with Morton going to Winslow, and if you're staying at 12, did you staying at 12 change that, or you won't have that phenomenal kid on your team?
I think you're getting a no comment.
um
Is he gone?
he's a
I
great
just want to
kid.
know is he
I mean,
gone?
a
Because I
very,
seen
very
the
very
flyer.
talented
That's all
kid.
I want to know. I know you're not defined by one player or whatever, but I know that's a cornerstone piece to build
But
around. Because what? Go ahead, you can answer.
yeah, but there's also 28 other kids on that team. So
Facts.
so me deciding to stay down was more than just one kid or the best kid on the team. That team is very, very talented. They're physical, they're fast. We have the size now up front with me keeping a few kids down. I don't know about the kid. I heard that he might be leaving. I heard he was coming back. I don't know. But my job isn't to wait for that. My job is to prepare these 20 other kids to be ready for a national run. If he comes back, great. If he doesn't, then we'll see him in Florida or wherever he's going to be. But my job is to make sure this team is prepared, and it has nothing to do with one kid or two kids. It's a combination of everybody doing their job.
Shout out to you, man. I already know you probably gonna have some new recruits. I'm probably sure you
There's
gonna
going to
beat the
be
ground to
pieces.
get you some recruits.
Who doesn't want their kid to play for Coach Flowers after the run he put in?
Yeah, like
I know
always.
I
And
do.
I like I
My
say,
kid's 14, but I'd have him play for Ronnie.
the old
Listen,
school coaches are always the best, man, because they're about team and development. You know what I'm saying? No, not to the new school guys. I think the new school guys too much get caught up in what it
You
looks
guys are
like
breaking
or
up kind of bad. I
going
wonder,
viral or something.
is it me or
nah, there's been a bad screech the most of the time.
Oh, I don't know what that is. That's probably my
I
my
can't hear any?
live. You got it. It's fixed.
I can hear you.
I
It
don't know what happened with
might be Ronnie's
Flowers.
Wi-Fi because he's frozen. All right,
Oh
D,
yeah,
I
he
got to run out
froze.
of here. But right, I'll see Coach Flowers and hopefully you down in Orlando in a couple weeks at the 8th grade All-Star game. Now that we moved
Yeah,
it.
I'll be there. I'll
Now they
be
got
there. And
canceled from
tell them
Dallas.
about the 8th grade All-Star game before you leave, since they changed it and everything.
Yeah, we're going to be March 12th to the 14th in Orlando since Dallas snowed us out. Thank God we canceled it because nobody was able to drive for a week there with the ice. So we would have never got our event off. So unfortunately, the kids don't get the Shrine Bowl and the tour of AT&T Stadium and all that good stuff. But we're going to give them their event. We're going to give them the game. And, as always, the game's going to be the game. And Coach Flowers is on the staff for the East. Coach Mike
Who
Mitchell
the
from
coaches
Watkins.
is for the East and West?
Yes.
Coach Mike Mitchell from Watkins is the head coach for the East, and Larry James from OG is the head coach for the West.
Ooh.
So
Okay. That's a good one, Dan. That's a good one.
yeah,
I'll be ready for that, man.
Larry's bringing Brian Barrett, the coach, to call the offense, which we all know Brian
Ooh,
can call
that's my
plays.
guy.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the list now. I'll tell you who the coaches are. Give me 10 seconds, just in
Okay.
case you.
Yeah, Brian IB Braves, OC when they last won
Yeah,
that Cali Bears team. What was that? 2023, if I'm not mistaken. They were freaking loaded. They had so many Power 5 kids off that squad.
yeah. So the East staff is going to be
Buster,
Mike Mitchell from Watkins, Pat Riley from the
national
Tommy
champ.
Warriors.
National champ.
Yep, Marco from the Maryland Heat, Marco Artis, Leon Chapman
Mm-hmm.
from Watkins, Ronnie Flowers, national champ, DeMonte Jones from Watkins, Mike Coleman from the Mississippi Wolfpack, and Tony Hurst from Dorchester Eagles. And then
That's
the
awesome.
West will be Larry James and Brian Barrett from OG, Nick Offenberger from Phoenix, the All Stars, Kenyon Albert from Guinea, L.J. Miller from Texas, Myron Tate from Southfield, Chris Daniels from the Michigan All Stars, and special teams extraordinaire for the West, Matt Dool from OG.
My boy Matt. Shout out to Matt. He's always contributing to the youth, just like my boy Flowers, man.
And the
Man,
rosters look good, and we're ready to go. And I got to get rolling out here for work for the night. But be good, brothers, and I will see you guys in a couple of weeks in Orlando.
most definitely, man. Thank you,
Yes,
Flowers,
sir,
for
Craig.
coming on, my guy,
Later.
man. We got to catch up,
No,
man. We got to
I
catch
appreciate
up,
it. I
man. I'll
appreciate it.
see you
Appreciate
down
the
at
time.
Nationals.
Appreciate the time, big dog.
Yeah, man. Let me know, man. Hit me up so we can talk about this season. So we out of here, folks, man. Later, bro.
Can you hear me, D?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Let me see.
Yeah, I can hear you, Flowers.
Let me see if I can click back on, D. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
No, it won't let me
I
do
can't
anything.
see y'all full comments, man. Y'all gonna catch me commenting after the fact. I can't see the full comments on the side. So when I get off here, I'm gonna answer everybody's questions. I can't see the full comments. Yeah, all right.